Commander Natalie Reeves stared at the dusty control panel of the abandoned lunar outpost. Her breath made small clouds in the cold air. She had come here on a hunch following old stories her grandmother had told her about secret bases from before. The lunar outpost was supposed to be empty, nothing but a relic from when humans still thought they could fight back against the Crimson hegemony. But Natalie had found something. The panel under her gloved fingers had lit up when she touched it, revealing a set of coordinates that should not exist. Natalie checked her oxygen levels. She had maybe 20 minutes before she needed to return to her shuttle. Her superiors at the Earth Defense Force would be looking for her soon. She quickly copied the coordinates to her personal device. The outpost had been abandoned for over a century since the First Contact War, when Earth had fought and lost against the alien armada. Now humans existed as a protected species under alien rule. Their once proud fleet reduced to a few ceremonial ships that patrolled their own solar system like pets on a leash. Back on her shuttle, Natalie examined the coordinates. They pointed to a location in the Cygnus Void, a region of space that most ships avoided. The aliens called it haunted, humans just called it dangerous. But something about these coordinates felt important. At Earth Defense Headquarters, Admiral Samantha Wright was waiting for her. Samantha was not just her superior but also her mentor, and one of the few people Natalie trusted. "What were you doing on the old lunar base?" Samantha asked, her voice stern. But her eyes worried. "Just checking old equipment." Natalie lied. She had learned long ago that some secrets were best kept. Even from friends, Samantha did not look convinced. "You know, the hegemony monitors all unauthorized expeditions. The treaty only allows us limited movement, even in our own system. I filed the proper paperwork," Natalie said. "It was a routine inspection." Samantha sighed heavily. "Sometimes I think you want to provoke them. They destroyed our fleets once, they can do it again." Natalie wanted to argue that living under alien rule was not really living at all. But she held her tongue. She had learned that lesson, too. That night in her small apartment, Natalie was studying the coordinates when her personal communication device lit up with a message from an unknown sender. "Find me, before they remember to fear us." Natalie stared at the message for a long time, her hands shaking slightly. She tried to trace it, but the signal seemed to come from the coordinates she had found, a signal from the empty void of space, a signal that should be impossible. The next day, Natalie sought out two people she knew she could trust. Olivia Morgan was the best engineer in the Earth Defense Force. She could make a ship run on half power and still outperform the rest of the fleet. Kate Sullivan was a xenoarchaeologist officially studying alien artifacts with permission, but secretly focused on finding lost human technology. Natalie met them in a small cafe away from the Defense Force headquarters, where they could talk without being monitored by the hegemony sensors that were everywhere else. "I need your help," Natalie said quietly. "I found something. Something big." "What kind of something big?" Olivia asked, her eyes bright with curiosity. "Coordinates," Natalie said. "To something called the Guardian." Kate nearly spilled her drink. "The Guardian. That's just a legend. A story they tell new recruits." "What is it?" Natalie asked. Kate looked around nervously before continuing. "The Guardian was supposed to be a prototype for a new kind of warship, something that could have changed the war, but it disappeared before it could be used. Some people think it never existed, but you found coordinates," Olivia said thoughtfully. Natalie nodded. "And I got a message from someone or something at those coordinates." The three women looked at each other. This was dangerous. The hegemony strictly controlled human technology, especially anything that could be used as a weapon. Finding the Guardian, if it existed, would violate every treaty Earth had signed after their defeat. It could mean the end of the protection Earth received. It could mean war, it could mean freedom. Natalie thought, "We would need a ship," Olivia said after a long silence. "A good one, and a reason to be out there near the Cygnus Void. We can fake a patrol mission." Kate suggested volunteer for the deep space monitoring route. "Nobody wants that duty. It goes right past the edge of the void." Natalie nodded. The plan was forming. But there was still the question of what they would find. The Guardian was just a story, But the coordinates were real, and so was the message that night. Natalie dreamed of stars and fire. She saw a massive ship unlike anything in the current Earth fleet. It moved through space like a predator hunting. She woke up with a name on her lips, a name she had never heard before. Valkyrie. Over the next week, the three women prepared. Olivia worked on their assigned patrol vessel, making small unofficial upgrades to its sensors and engines. Kate gathered all the information she could find about the Cygnus Void and the legends of the Guardian. Natalie created the patrol route and got it approved, making it look routine and uninteresting. 2 days before their scheduled departure, Natalie received another message on her private channel. The stars remember when they feared us. They will remember again. Day of departure arrived clear and cold. Admiral Samantha inspected their ship personally, checking their mission parameters and patrol route. Be careful out there, Nat, she said as they completed the inspection. Something feels off lately. The hegemony. Ships have been more active. Natalie nodded, trying to look unconcerned. Just a routine patrol, she said. We'll be back before you know it. As their ship lifted off from Earth, the three women watched their blue planet shrink behind them. They were committed. Now their course was set for the edge of the Cygnus Void, and whatever waited for them there. None of them knew that a hegemony intelligence officer named Overseer Kaxnar was already reviewing their flight plan and finding it suspicious. The journey to the Cygnus Void would take 5 days at standard speed. Natalie, Olivia, and Kate settled into a routine on their small patrol vessel. They kept to their approved flight path, transmitting regular status updates to Earth headquarters, just as any normal patrol would. On the 3rd day, they detected a hegemony cruiser on their long-range scanners. Incoming transmission. Kate said, her voice tight with worry. On screen, Natalie ordered, sitting straight in the command chair. The face that appeared belonged to Overseer Kaxnar, a high-ranking hegemony official with gray-scaled skin and yellow eyes that seemed to see right through human deception. Commander Reeves, the alien, said, his voice translating through their system. Earth Defense. Vessel 7723, you are approaching restricted space. We are on an approved patrol route, sir. Natalie replied, keeping her voice steady and professional. As you can see in our flight plan. The alien made a sound that might have been amusement or doubt. Human. Patrols do not usually come this far from your homeworld. New security protocol, sir. We are monitoring for illegal salvage operations. There was a long pause as the yellow eyes studied her. There have been unusual energy readings from this sector. We will escort you. That will not be necessary, Natalie said quickly. Too quickly, perhaps, the hegemony insists. Kaxnar replied. The transmission ended. The three women looked at each other. This could ruin everything. What do we do? Kate asked. We can't reach the coordinates with them watching. Olivia was already at the engineering console. I might have a solution, she said, but it's risky. Anything is better than turning back. Natalie said. Olivia explained her plan. The patrol vessel had been equipped with standard sensor buoys devices that could be deployed to expand their monitoring range. Olivia had modified one to emit the same signature as their ship. We dropped the buoy continue on our approved route for a while with them following us, she explained. Then we trigger a minor system failure, something that would force us to return to Earth. We switch to minimal power emergency systems only. And while they are escorting the buoy, thinking it's US, we make a run for the coordinates. It was dangerous. The hegemony did not take kindly to deception, but it was their best option. They executed the plan the next day, deploying the modified buoy and continuing along their patrol route with the hegemony cruiser following at a distance. As planned, they triggered a warning about an oxygen recycler failure and transmitted their intention to return to Earth. Then they cut power to all non-essential systems and drifted, while the buoy, now emitting their ship's signature, continued along the return path with the hegemony escort. As soon as the cruiser was out of scanner range, they powered up again and changed course directly for the coordinates in the Cygnus Void. The Void lived up to its name, empty dark space with few stars and strange gravity, fluctuations that made navigation difficult. Sensors were unreliable here and communication with Earth was impossible. They were truly alone. On the edge of the Void, they encountered the first strange phenomenon: a field of small satellites. Ancient, in design that emitted warning signals in all directions, Kate studied them with growing excitement. "These are human-made," she said. "Not alien, not hegemony, but they're using technology we don't have. They shouldn't exist. Can we get past them?" Natalie asked Olivia, was studying the pattern of the satellites. "They seem to form a barrier," she said, "but there's a gap." In fact, she frowned. "It's almost like they're creating a path." They followed the gap between the satellites deeper into the void. The ship's sensors began, picking up massive objects ahead. An asteroid field, but unlike any they had seen before. The asteroids moved in patterns too regular to be natural. As they approached the field, automated defense systems activated. Beams of energy shot between the asteroids, creating a deadly net weight, Olivia called out, studying the pattern. "It's a test, a challenge." She pointed to a sequence in the energy grid. "It repeats. Every 67 seconds there's a gap just big enough for our ship." Natalie took manual control of the vessel. It would require perfect timing and steady hands to navigate through the gaps in the energy grid. They made 3 attempts, each time getting closer to success. On the 4th try, they slipped through, entering the heart of the asteroid field. The largest asteroid waited at the center, perfectly spherical, too perfect to be natural. As they approached, sensors indicated it was hollow. An entrance appeared in the surface as if responding to their presence. "A hangar large enough for their ship. Do we go in?" Kate asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We came this far," Natalie said, and guided their ship into the opening. Inside was a vast chamber illuminated by soft blue lighting, and suspended in the center, held in what looked like a time dilation field, was another ship. A massive warship unlike anything they had seen before. Its design was clearly human, but far more advanced than any Earth vessel. Its hull was midnight black with lines of blue energy pulsing along its length. Guardian Kate breathed as they stared in awe. Something happened. The blue energy lines on the massive ship pulsed faster. The time dilation field flickered and began to dissipate. A voice filled their ship, coming through all communication channels at once. "Genetic signature recognized. Reeves. Lineage confirmed. Welcome. Commander Natalie Reeves. I am Valkyrie. The Guardian has awaited your arrival." Natalie felt a chill run down her spine. "How did it know her name? Approach docking bay. 3 for integration," the voice continued. "Integration?" Kate asked. "What does that mean?" Natalie didn't know, but she felt compelled to follow the instructions. She guided their patrol vessel toward a small opening that had appeared in the side of the Guardian. Once inside, they found themselves in a pristine docking bay that looked as if it had been built yesterday, not centuries ago. The 3 women suited up and entered the Guardian through an airlock. The air inside was breathable, the gravity and temperature perfect. The corridors lit up as they walked, guiding them deeper into the ship. They reached what appeared to be the command center. A circular room with a single chair in the center, surrounded by control panels that lit up as Natalie approached. "Welcome, Commander," the voice of Valkyrie said. This time coming from the room itself. "I have been waiting for a Reeves." "Who are you?" Natalie asked. "What are you?" "I am the Guardian's central intelligence system," Valkyrie replied. "I was created to interface with my captain. The last was Captain Eleanor Reeves, your ancestor. She hid me here when the war was lost. She preserved me for the day when humanity would need me again." Ancestor, Natalie asked. "My family records don't go back that far. Many records were destroyed by the hegemony," Valkyrie said. "The truth of Earth's past was hidden from its children. But your DNA does not lie. You are a Reeves, the only living descendant of my last captain." The system displayed images on the surrounding screens. Images of Earth ships, much more advanced than anything they had. Now images of battles among the stars. Images of a woman who looked disturbingly like Natalie standing on this very bridge. "You mean we had all this before?" Olivia asked, looking around in awe. "What happened?" "We're betrayed," Valkyrie said simply. The hegemony did not defeat humanity in fair combat. They used biological weapons on our colonies. They targeted civilian populations. They broke the ancient codes of warfare. And the Guardian? Kate asked, "Why is it so important to him, the prototype?" Valkyrie explained. The first of what would have been a new fleet. Ships capable of changing the balance of power. Ships integrated with their captains' minds. Ships that could think and adapt. The hegemony feared us. They still do. Suddenly alarms blared throughout the ship. Warning, Valkyrie announced. Hegemony vessel detected approaching. The defenses will not hold them off for long. How did they find us? Kate asked in panic. The sensor buoy. Olivia realized they must have discovered it was fake. There is little time, Valkyrie said. Commander Reeves, you must decide. Will you accept integration? Will you awaken the Guardian fully? Will you take up your ancestors' mantle? Natalie looked at her friends, then back at the command chair at the center of the bridge. What exactly is integration? She asked. Valkyrie hesitated for the first time. It is a neural link between captain and ship. Your mind connected to mine. Our strengths combined. It has risks. What risks? Your humanity may be compromised, Valkyrie said. The longer the integration, the more the line blurs between human and machine. It is why Captain Eleanor chose to remain in stasis with me. She could not return to Earth after what was done. The alarms grew louder. They are breaching the asteroid defenses, Valkyrie reported. We have minutes at most. Natalie stepped toward the command chair. I accept, she said. As she sat down, neural interfaces extended, connecting with her suit, with her body, with her mind. The ship around them hummed to life systems dormant for centuries, powering up weapons, charging engines, warming. And in Natalie's mind, a presence ancient and powerful. Together, Valkyrie whispered in her thoughts. Now we show them why they feared us. Natalie gasped as her mind connected with the Guardian. The neural link flooded her consciousness with information. Images, sounds, feelings, knowledge all pouring in at once. It was overwhelming, like trying to drink from a waterfall. Steady, Valkyrie said in her mind. The integration is always difficult at first. Focus on my voice. Find the center. Natalie struggled to follow the instruction. Her own thoughts seemed to be drowning in the vast sea of the Guardian systems. But slowly she found a point of balance, a calm in the storm. She began to make sense of the flood of information. Ship systems functional at 60%. Valkyrie reported weapons at 40%. Shields at 70%. Phase drive needs time to fully activate. Natalie understood now what she was seeing. The Guardian was not just a ship. It was something far more advanced. A vessel capable of shifting partially out of normal space, making it nearly impossible to hit a warship with weapons that operated on quantum principles rather than the crude energy weapons of current fleets. Around her, Olivia and Kate were staring in amazement as the dead ship came alive. Panels, lighting controls responding. Screens showing the approaching hegemony vessel. They are hailing us, Kate said, looking at a communication console that had activated accept. Natalie said, surprised at how different her voice sounded. Deeper, more confident. The neural link was affecting her. Overseer. Kaxnar appeared on the main screen. His yellow eyes widening at what he saw. Humans, he hissed. What have you done? What is this vessel? This is the Guardian. Natalie replied, feeling Valkyrie's presence guiding her words. An Earth vessel returning to service? This is impossible, the alien said. All Earth military vessels are accounted for. This technology is forbidden. By whose law? Natalie asked. By treaties signed after you used biological weapons on our colonies. After you targeted civilian populations. The alien flinched visibly. How do you know this? This is classified even among my kind. We remember, Natalie said. We remember everything. Kaxnar composed himself. Whatever this vessel is, it violates all treaties. Your world enjoys hegemony protection. Only because you accepted your place. You will power down and prepare to be boarded. Or Earth will face consequences through the neural link Natalie could feel. The Guardian's weapon systems coming online, targeting the hegemony ship. It would be so easy to fire to destroy them, but that would only confirm everything the hegemony believed about humanity. Powered down weapons, she thought to Valkyrie. That is unwise, the AI responded. They will board and take this technology, trust me. Natalie insisted. We need information more than we need a victory. Right now the weapon's powered down. Natalie looked at Kaxnar on the screen. We will not fire on your vessel, she said, but neither will we surrender. The Guardian. We seek information, not conflict. The Overseer seemed surprised by this response. Humans. Never surprised me until today, he said after a moment. What information do you seek? The truth about Earth, about the war, about what really happened. Kaxnar was silent for a long moment. Then, perhaps it is time for truth, he said, but not over open channels. I will come aboard your vessel alone. Unarmed, Natalie conferred silently with Valkyrie through their link. The AI was suspicious but agreed. It was worth the risk. We accept. Natalie said dock at airlock 7. While they waited for Kaxnar to board, Natalie asked Valkyrie to show her and her friends what really happened during the First Contact War. The neural link gave her access to records that had been erased from Earth's history. The truth was shocking. Earth had not been a simple victim. It had been the center of a vast human empire spanning dozens of star systems with technology far beyond what they now possessed. The hegemony had not been the aggressors, but rather one of many alien civilizations that had united against human expansion. Humans were the conquerors? Natalie asked in disbelief, looking at the historical records Valkyrie was showing them. Not conquerors. Valkyrie corrected. Explorers. Builders. But yes, human civilization was far more advanced and widespread. Your ancestors seeded hundreds of worlds. But the war, Kate asked, what really happened? The alliance of species that would become the hegemony feared human advancement. Valkyrie explained. They saw how quickly humans developed, how adaptable they were. They struck first using biological weapons designed to target human DNA. Billions died. The images were horrific. Entire colony worlds devastated. Populations wiped out. Earth fought back. Valkyrie continued. The Guardian was the newest weapon. A ship that could bond with its captain, think, adapt, evolve. But it came too late. The war was already lost, and my ancestor, Natalie asked Captain Eleanor Reeves. What happened to her? She made a choice. Valkyrie said she could not return to Earth. Not with what she knew, not with what she had become through our integration, so she hid me here in the void. She entered stasis with most of my systems, allowing us both to wait for you. Their conversation was interrupted by Kate announcing that Overseer Kaxnar's shuttle had docked. The alien entered the bridge alone as promised, his yellow eyes taking in the advanced technology around him. So it is true, he said. The Guardian exists. I thought it was just a story told to scare young officers. How did you know about it? Natalie asked. There are records, restricted records about a human vessel that could not be destroyed, that could shift between spaces, that thought like a living being. The vessel that nearly turned the tide of the war, and now here you are, Kaxnar said, looking directly at Natalie. Your mind already linking with it, I can see the signs. The way your eyes move, processing data too quickly for a normal human. Why are you telling us this? Kate asked. Why not just destroy us now while the ship is not fully operational? Kaxnar made that sound again, half laugh, half sigh. Because the hegemony is fracturing. He admitted species that were once united against humanity are now fighting amongst themselves. And there is something worse coming from the outer rim. Something that threatens us all. The Hegemony Supreme Council has been searching for the Guardian. For what purpose, Olivia asked suspiciously. To destroy it, Kaxnar admitted. But there are some of us who believe that was a mistake, that humanity should be restored, not as conquerors but as equals. As allies against what comes. Natalie could sense through the neural link that Valkyrie was analyzing. Kaxnar's words, searching for deception. Finding none. There is more you should know. Kaxnar continued. The hegemony has detected signs of ancient human technology awakening on Earth. Technology buried beneath your cities. Technology that has been dormant for centuries. They fear this, combined with the Guardian, could lead to a human resurgence. They have authorized purification protocol. Purification, Natalie asked, though she already feared the answer. The cleansing of Earth, Kaxnar said, his voice solemn. All human life eliminated, the planet sterilized. When Kate asked, her voice shaking, the fleet assembles now, Kaxnar said, 3 days at most before they reach Earth, through her link with the Guardian. Natalie suddenly received an incoming transmission on a secure channel. A human face appeared on a small screen, visible only to her commander Reeves. The woman said, "My name is Donna Martinez, Earth Intelligence. I don't have much time. The hegemony is planning something big. A fleet is gathering near Jupiter. Our long-range sensors detected your ship activating. I need to know, is it really?" The Guardian. "Yes, Natalie. Confirmed." "How do you know about it?" "There are those of us who have kept the old knowledge," Martinez said, Admiral Wright among them. "We have been waiting, preparing. Earth has not been as compliant as the hegemony believes." Admiral Wright. Natalie was shocked. Her mentor was part of a resistance. "She's been protecting you, guiding you." Martinez said, "We need the Guardian now, Commander. The hegemony fleet is larger than anything we've seen before." The transmission cut off abruptly. Natalie looked up to see Kaxnar watching her. "You received a transmission," he said. "It was not hard to guess. Your Earth resistance is brave but small. The fleet coming is vast. How long would it take the Guardian to reach full power?" Natalie asked Valkyrie through their link. "At current rate, 12 hours, the AI replied. "But we can be combat effective at 70% in approximately 4 hours. We need to get back to Earth," Natalie announced. "We need to warn them. Prepare them. It is too late." Kaxnar said, "Unless he," looked around the bridge of the Guardian. "Unless this vessel truly is what the old records claim. A weapon like no other." The neural link between Natalie and the Guardian was growing stronger. She could feel the ship's systems as extensions of her own body. The weapons, the engines, the phase drive that would allow them to shift partially out of normal space, making them nearly impossible to target. "We need to test the Guardian," she said aloud. "To see what it can really do, is that wise?" Kate asked. "We barely understand this technology. It's our only chance." Natalie replied, through their link. Valkyrie guided Natalie to take the Guardian out of the asteroid hangar. The massive ship moved with surprising grace, responding to her thoughts as much as her commands. The sensation was like nothing Natalie had ever experienced. It was as if the ship was a part of her body, a massive, powerful extension of herself. As they emerged from the asteroid field sensors, detected a small hegemony patrol. "Perfect test for the Guardian's capabilities. Engage phase drive," Natalie commanded. The ship shimmered around them as it partially shifted out of normal space. Not invisible, but harder to see, harder to target. The hegemony patrol immediately detected them opening fire with energy weapons, but the beams passed through the Guardian harmlessly. "Now return fire, minimal power. Disable only," Natalie ordered. The Guardian's weapons were beyond anything currently in use. The journey back to Earth was a race against time. The Guardian pushed its engines beyond safety parameters, the massive ship cutting through space faster than any current human or hegemony vessel. During those 2 days, Natalie remained connected to the ship through the neural link, learning its systems, understanding its capabilities. The connection grew stronger with each passing hour. Her awareness expanded beyond normal human limits. She could feel the ship as part of herself, its sensors becoming extensions of her own senses. Olivia worked with Valkyrie to bring more systems online, increasing the Guardian's power from 60% to nearly 80%. Kate and Kaxnar reviewed all available data on the hegemony fleet, preparing tactical analyses and potential weaknesses. 12 hours from Earth, they received another transmission from Donna Martinez. Her face was tight with worry. "Commander, the hegemony fleet has arrived," she reported. "They are deploying an attack formation. Around Earth, our defense forces are mobilizing," but she hesitated. "We don't stand a chance." "Not against a fleet this size." "Show me," Natalie requested. Martinez transmitted sensor data of the hegemony fleet. It was massive, over 50 warships, including 3 dreadnoughts. "The largest fleet deployment since the original contact war. Admiral Wright is coordinating our defense," Martinez continued. But she's also activating contingency protocols. What contingencies? Natalie asked. For years we've been hiding ships, Martinez explained, building them in secret trained crews ready for this moment. But even with them we are outmatched. Tell Admiral Wright. The Guardian is coming, Natalie said. We will arrive in 12 hours. Martinez looked shocked. The Guardian, she whispered. Then the stories are true. Very true. Natalie confirmed. Prepare the fleet. We will need a coordinated attack. The transmission ended. Natalie could feel the Guardian's anticipation through their neural link. The ship wanted this battle, had been designed for it, but she also felt something else. A warning from Valkyrie. The neural integration is proceeding faster than expected, the AI communicated directly to her mind. At this rate, complete merger will occur during the coming battle. What does that mean? Natalie asked silently. Your consciousness and mine will become permanently linked? The AI explained. You will not be able to disconnect from the Guardian. Your physical body will remain, but your mind will exist primarily within the ship's systems. This is what happened to Captain Eleanor Reeves. Can it be reversed? No, Valkyrie replied. It was designed as a one-way process, a complete commitment, a final sacrifice for those who would command this power. Natalie absorbed this information with a strange calmness. The neural link was changing her already, making her see things differently. The thought of becoming permanently bonded with the Guardian no longer seemed frightening. It felt inevitable. She gathered her crew and Caxnar to explain the situation and what they would face at Earth. The hegemony fleet outmatches anything Earth can deploy, she explained. But the Guardian has capabilities they cannot counter. Our phase drive makes us nearly impossible to target effectively. Our quantum weapons can disable their ships without destroying them, but we will still be outnumbered. Kate pointed out. Even with the hidden Earth fleet, Caxnar spoke up. The hegemony believes in overwhelming force, but they also fear the Guardian. There are stories, legends among our military. If they see it again after all these centuries, it may create confusion, division. The psychological impact. Olivia nodded. Understanding. That could work in our favor. The neural link suddenly alerted Natalie to something else. Something. The Guardian had kept hidden. There is more, Natalie said, feeling the information flow from Valkyrie. The Guardian is not alone. What do you mean? Kate asked. Across the solar system. Natalie explained, her eyes unfocused as she accessed the information through the neural link. There are defense platforms, ancient human technology, hidden dormant. The Guardian can activate them. Caxnar looked alarmed. That would change everything, he said. If those platforms still function, combined with this ship, the hegemony would have no choice but to retreat, Natalie finished, or be destroyed. As they approached Earth, the situation grew more desperate. Martinez sent regular updates. The hegemony fleet had begun its attack. Earth's official defense forces were being quickly overwhelmed. The hidden resistance fleet under Admiral Wright had revealed itself, but was struggling to make an impact. 6 hours out from Earth, the first hegemony interceptors reached them. A squadron of fast attack ships sent to delay. The Guardian. Natalie engaged the phase drive, the massive warship shifting partially out of normal space. The interceptors fired energy weapons that passed harmlessly through the shifted vessel. Should we return fire? Kate asked, from the weapons console. No, Natalie replied. Save our energy. Let them see what they're dealing with. The Guardian passed through the interceptor squadron like a ghost, untouched, untouchable. The neural link told Natalie that the hegemony pilots were panicking, reporting impossible readings. 2 hours from Earth, they received a direct communication from Admiral Samantha Wright. Her face showed surprise and hope when she saw Natalie on the bridge of the ancient warship. So it was real. She said, the Guardian. My God. Nat, what have you done? What you trained me to do, Natalie replied. Stand for Earthright. Nodded grimly. The situation is critical. The hegemony has broken through our outer defenses. They're targeting major cities. Already London and Beijing have taken hits casualties. Natalie asked minimal for now. They seem to be targeting infrastructure first, but their dreadnoughts are moving into position for orbital bombardment. We need you here now. We're coming as fast as we can, Natalie assured her, but I need you to coordinate with me. There are defense platforms throughout the system. Ancient tech from before the war. The Guardian can activate them, but your fleet needs to protect them until they're fully online. Wright looked stunned. Defense platforms. What are you talking about? The truth. Natalie said, Earth was not a victim in the First War. We were an empire. The hegemony fears us for good reason. Those platforms were part of a system designed to protect Seoul. Before they were deactivated, in the surrender sending coordinates, Natalie continued upload them to resistance vessels. Have them move to these positions. Wright hesitated only briefly before nodding. I'll redirect what ships I can. Natalie felt the Guardian approaching the edge of the Sol system. Through the neural link, she could sense the ancient defense platforms scattered throughout the system. Dormant, but not dead. Waiting for the Guardian to awaken them. Activate defense grid, she commanded through the link. The Guardian sent out a signal, a complex encoded transmission that spread across the solar system. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then sensors detected energy spikes. Near Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. On moons, asteroids, hidden installations that had been sleeping for centuries. On the tactical display, they watched as the hegemony fleet suddenly reacted to the new threats, shifting formation. Confused, alarmed. They know what's happening, Kaxnar said. They recognize the defense grid. Their historical records warn of this. The Guardian emerged from faster-than-light travel near Mars. The massive ship immediately engaged its phase drive, becoming ghost-like as hegemony sensors detected it, and ships turned to attack. And now Earth saw the return of its ancient Guardian, the ship that had passed into legend, the vessel that had nearly turned the tide of a war centuries ago. The hegemony flagship immediately broke off its attack on Earth, turning all its weapons toward the Guardian. Natalie could feel the energy readings as the massive dreadnought powered up weapons designed to destroy planets. But those weapons required a target, and the Guardian in phase shift was nearly impossible to target. Natalie guided the ancient warship straight toward the hegemony flagship, passing through its defensive screen like they didn't exist. The Guardian solid enough to fight, incorporeal enough to avoid damage. A perfect weapon, she targeted the flagship's engines with quantum disruptors. Not to destroy, but to disable. The beams hit with surgical precision, shutting down the dreadnought's power core, freezing it in space. Across the system, the ancient defense platforms were coming online, each one targeting hegemony vessels with precision, Earth resistance. Ships protected the platforms following Admiral Wright's orders, but the hegemony still had numbers on their side, and their supreme commander had arrived in a vessel that dwarfed even the other dreadnoughts, a ship known as the World Ender. Its hull was scarred from countless battles, its weapons capable of destroying entire fleets. Target that vessel, Natalie ordered, pointing to the World Ender, all weapons. The Guardian responded, its quantum weapons firing at full power, but the World Ender had defenses unlike any other hegemony ship. Energy shields that somehow blocked even the Guardian's attacks. Warning, Valkyrie communicated through their link. Neural integration approaching critical threshold. Estimated time to complete merger 15 minutes. Natalie felt the change happening. Her awareness of her physical body was fading, her consciousness expanding throughout the Guardian systems. The ship was becoming her becoming the ship. Soon there would be no separation. The World Ender fired its main weapon, a beam of concentrated energy that even the phase drive couldn't fully avoid. The Guardian shuddered as partial hits damaged its hull shields down to 40%. Olivia reported damage on decks 7 through 12. We need a different approach, Natalie said, her voice sounding distant to her own ears. The neural merger was accelerating. Kaxnar stepped forward, looking at tactical displays. The World Ender has one vulnerability, he said. The battle for Earth had ended, but the war was just beginning. Following the defeat of the World Ender and the retreat of the hegemony fleet, the news spread across the galaxy with impossible speed. The Guardian had returned. Earth had awakened. The ancient fear had been justified. From her orbit around Earth, Natalie observed the changes happening below. Once dormant technology buried beneath human cities for centuries was being rediscovered. Memories long suppressed were returning to the collective consciousness of humanity. The truth of their past as a spacefaring empire was emerging from the shadows of history. Kate and Olivia had returned to Earth, becoming leaders in the new provisional government that had formed after the battle. Admiral Wright now served as Earth Defense Force Supreme Commander, coordinating with resistance cells from other worlds that had been inspired by Earth's stand against the hegemony. Kaxnar had surprised everyone by requesting asylum on Earth. He was not the only one. Many hegemony citizens, especially younger generations, had secretly questioned the stories they had been told about the dangerous humans. Soon ships arrived carrying defectors seeking to ally with the awakening Earth. 3 months after the battle, a massive hegemony armada appeared at the edge of the solar system. Larger than the first fleet, more dreadnoughts, more weapons, but they did not attack. Instead, they transmitted a request for parley. Natalie, fully integrated with the Guardian, now observed the transmission from orbit. Her consciousness expanded beyond human limitations, but still connected to her humanity through her memories and her friends. The Supreme Council requests dialogue with Earth and the Guardian. The hegemony message stated, "The recent conflict was unfortunate, a misunderstanding. We seek peaceful resolution." Peaceful resolution. Olivia scoffed. During an emergency meeting of Earth's leadership, they tried to sterilize our planet. They fear what comes next. Kate said what we might do in retaliation. Natalie appeared on the screens of the council chamber, her image flickering with blue energy, her voice resonant with the Guardian's power. They fear what comes from beyond, she said. The real reason they sought the Guardian. The real reason they feared Earth's awakening. What do you mean? Admiral Wright asked. During my integration with the Guardian, I accessed sealed records. Natalie explained. There is something at the edge of the galaxy. Something that frightened even the original human empire. Something that the hegemony has been fighting in secret for decades. Kaxnar nodded solemnly. It is called the Void Collective, he said. A force that consumes worlds, assimilates species, grows stronger with each conquest. The hegemony has been containing it, but our resources grow thin. Our worlds divided. The ancient records spoke of weapons humanity once wielded against it, of the Guardian and its counterparts. Kate asked. The Guardian was not alone. Natalie explained. I can sense them now. Dormant, scattered, waiting. 5 other vessels like this one, hidden throughout the galaxy. When united, they formed a defense network that even the Void Collective feared. Admiral Wright stood up so the hegemony didn't just fear our return, she said. They feared we would not return in time to help fight this greater threat. Precisely, Kaxnar said. Then we found signs of the Guardian awakening, and instead of seeking alliance, panic drove the Supreme Council to attempt purification. A final solution to the human question. Through her expanded consciousness, Natalie could see the patterns forming, the possible futures branching before them. The choices that would define not just humanity, but all sentient species in the galaxy. I will meet with the hegemony fleet, she announced alone. Kate asked, concerned. I am never alone now. Natalie replied with a smile that combined human warmth with something more. I am the Guardian. We are one. The meeting took place in neutral space between Earth and the hegemony armada. The Guardian, still damaged from the previous battle but powerful enough to defend itself if necessary. Natalie projected her image into the hegemony flagship, appearing before the Supreme Council. 7 alien leaders representing the founding species of the Empire. So the integration is complete. One of the council members observed. The human and the machine merged. What Eleanor Reeves began. You have finished. You know of Captain Reeves? Natalie asked. We have studied the Guardian for centuries, another council member said. Hoping to understand its power to replicate it. We failed. The technology requires something we lack. A human quality we cannot quantify. The council leader leaned forward. The situation has changed. The Void Collective advances. We sought the Guardian to help us fight it, but fear clouded judgment. Old hatreds resurfaced. Now we offer alliance. As equals, Natalie considered their offer. Through her connection with the Guardian, she could sense the truth in their words, the genuine fear of what approached from the galactic rim, the desperate need for allies, but she could also sense opportunity. Leverage a chance to restore humanity not as conquerors, but as equals. The humans have terms, she said. Over the next days, a new treaty was negotiated, one that recognized Earth as a sovereign power, that acknowledged the crimes of the past. The biological weapons, the suppression of human history, the deliberate keeping of Earth as a technological backwater. The treaty established a new alliance, a federation of equal worlds united against the coming threat. But Natalie knew this was just the beginning. Through the Guardian, she could sense the other vessels like herself, calling to her. One hidden in the rings of a gas giant in the Cygnus sector, another buried on a dead world near the galactic core. 3 more scattered in distant regions, each waiting for its own captain, its own integration. I need to find them, she told Kate and Olivia during what would be their final meeting aboard the Guardian. I can feel them calling their captains waiting in stasis like Eleanor Reeves was. They need to be awakened before the Void Collective arrives. You're leaving. Kate asked, tears in her eyes. Earth. Has you now, Natalie said. Other worlds need the Guardian. The network must be re-established. The other captains awakened. Will you return? Olivia asked. Natalie smiled, her form shimmering with the blue energy of the Guardian. I am changed, she said. But, still Natalie. Still your friend. Earth is my home. It will always call to me, and I will always answer when needed. Admiral Wright joined them, her face solemn with understanding. What can we do to help? She asked. Rebuild, she said. Remember who we were. Learn who we can become. There are records within the Guardian I have transferred to Earth's databases. Knowledge of our past, our technology, our potential. Use it wisely. Not to conquer, but to protect Caxnar, who had become an advisor to Earth's new. Government nodded in agreement. There must be balance, he said. Not domination as the hegemony sought. Not expansion as the old human empire pursued. But harmony. Protection of all sentient life. As the Guardian prepared to depart, hundreds of ships gathered in orbit to witness its leaving Earth vessels, hegemony ships. Vessels from worlds that had already declared independence, inspired by Earth's example. The ancient warship moved with grace, its damaged sections still under repair, but its power unmistakable. From the surface, billions watched the sky as the Guardian glowed brightly enough to be seen in daylight. A final farewell, a promise of return. Through the neural link now permanent and complete, Natalie set course for the first of the dormant Guardians. In the distance beyond known space, she could sense the darkness of the Void Collective, a hunger that consumed worlds, a threat greater than any the galaxy had faced. The hegemony had feared the return of humanity, had feared the Guardian. But that fear had been misplaced. The true threat approached from beyond. And now the ancient Guardians would awaken one by one, a network of protectors, each bonded with a human captain, each becoming something more than either human or machine. The Guardian accelerated beyond conventional speeds, its phase drive engaging, taking it partially out of normal space. The stars blurred around it. As Earth faded behind her, Natalie felt a profound peace, despite the challenges ahead. She had found her purpose, her destiny. She was the Guardian, the protector of worlds, the awakener of the ancient defense network, the herald of humanity's return. And as the Guardian vanished into the depths of space, a message remained, broadcasting on all frequencies, in all languages. We will return when darkness comes. We will stand against it as we always have, as we always will. Earth remembers. Earth awakens. Earth protects aboard. The Guardian. Natalie set course for the first of her sleeping siblings. Her consciousness expanded across the ship systems, feeling its power, its purpose, the neural link complete. Her transformation finished. The galactic hegemony had feared nothing until Earth's last Guardian returned. But now that fear had become hope, for the Guardian was no longer the last, and Earth was no longer alone. And in the darkness between the stars, the other Guardians sensed her coming and waited to awaken.